So, so right now we're doing a Tai Chi Chuan class, and my student is finding that he is not present, right? So frustrated, anxious, worried, uh, annoyed, comparing himself to maybe last year at this time, or in his younger years, or comparing himself to how he should be, or how he thought he'd be by now, or whatever. Um, And so, of course, okay, I say, well, here's a correction. Okay, work on that. Try and integrate that a little bit. Get a little practice, and then maybe you get it, maybe you don't. But what we're seeing is something else goes off the rails, right? Something else gets forgotten. Something else gets blurred or de-emphasized or sort of poorly executed, right? Maybe done out of order, that sort of thing. And then, of course, as you might imagine, then we get a little bit of a snowball of, well, see, I told you I was frustrated. Now I have more reason to be frustrated or annoyed or self doubting or anxious or feeling ashamed or guilty about what your practices look like or all these different things that go on. Um, and so I say, well, ultimately, what's happening here is you're not present. So it isn't that you didn't learn this. It isn't that you don't have the capacity to remember it, and it isn't that you do not have the capacity to execute it. Particularly because here we're working on stuff at the beginning of the form. So usually when people mess up repeatedly at the beginning of a form that they've been doing for a while, they kind of have an excess of self-criticism. Like, come on, I'm getting the beginning wrong. I'm getting the beginning wrong 8 times in a row or 80 times in a row, beating yourself up, basically, right? Um, and so I say, well, let's work on it. I gave you a correction. Ultimately, what I see is the issue that you're having is that you're not present, right? And we're humans. There's a bunch of reasons for that. What's going on at home? What's going on with your vehicle? What's going on with work? What's going on with your family? What's going on with your body health? What else you have planned for today? Your opinions about your practice and the lesson, and all the rest of it. So then, what we end up doing quite often, and this is the mistake that I want to address, is say, okay, you're right, I'm not present, and then let me try it again. Let me work on that again. And basically demand of yourself that you become present and say, you know, knuckle down, lock it up, get it right. You can do this. And basically approach it with a sort of disciplinarian or militaristic kind of approach. Like, oh, I messed it up so bad. Now just do it. He said be present. I got to be present. I'm going to be present this time. Here we go. And go through the form, right? So some version of that, right? Um, but that, of course, isn't going to work. That's what we're seeing here in this class. Like, you just continue to tell yourself that if I just demand that I do it right, meaning stay present, stay in the moment, follow the breath, that sort of stuff, it'll be better. And then when it isn't, it's more fuel to the fire that you're burning, which is self doubt, self criticism, self flagellation, all that kind of a stuff, right? And then we know that's not going to turn into a great practice or a great uh, uh, run through of the form. We know it's like, it ain't going to happen, right? So particularly here, we're working on Tai Chi Chuan. So this wouldn't work with anything that you're practicing, but quite a lot of the things that I teach. But particularly with Tai Chi Chuan is offering us an avenue to sensation, to present moment, to now, to experiencing the body as it is, not as it's expected to be, not as it's remembered to be, but as it is. And that's a big part of what Tai Chi Chuan does. It helps us remember the moment, come into awareness of the moment, access the moment, or embody the moment, or live only in the moment, something, however, we might want to poetically express that. And so, if we remember that and we say, okay, right now, I have a lot going on in my life, and my in laws are here, and my truck made a weird sound, and I didn't eat lunch, and my knee has been bothering me. So, I have a bunch of reasons that this might not go well. Okay, fair. But I'm doing a thing that helps invite me back to the present moment. Maybe imperfectly, maybe a little slower than you'd like, but the thing I'm doing poorly today is the thing that is the tool that's made to help me address that problem. If I don't just demand, it magically does it. And just say, demand to myself, be present this time. He said, be present. I'm not present. I'm going to do it this time. Well, that's demanding it instead of accessing it. And so if I was to do the form properly, and imagine I'm scattered today, I'm out of sorts, and again, maybe good reason, right? A good friend just died, and I have a tough meeting at the IRS tomorrow, and okay. But what am I supposed to be doing here, right? I'm supposed to be finding my alignment so that my um, body can be carried easily, most easily into the earth, and that what rises, let's say my spirit, can find its way most easily into the sky. And then I'm physically lowering my body at the beginning of a Tai Chi form, right? I'm physically lowering, I'm settling, I'm centering. So I'm centered, I'm settled, I'm aligned. I'm feeling my feet, right? The basis of our uh, posture and structure and power and our presence. Uh, you might not be barefoot, you might not be on a pleasant surface, but you're feeling your feet, right? I'm kind of barefoot outside. It's kind of especially nice. And that might be an easy recommendation. Pop your shoes off, try it outside if that's possible. But anyway, I'm present and I'm coordinating with the breath. I'm coordinating the mind, the breath, and the body. Exhale. Maybe the start of your form is an inhale, exhale, whatever it happens to be. But I'm coming into aligned presence and I'm settling. I'm somewhat lower. And then I'm stepping out into a stable stance, right? Some forms might have you start there so you don't step out, but then you arrive in your stable stance. The rest of your being, your psyche, your mind, your emotions, whatever, and all of those that have their place lower because you're aligned, the kinks are out, if you will, can flow down, or the ones that are meant to flow up can flow up so that there's less caught up in the body and the being. And then we have a salutatory posture, we have a commencement posture, we have a sanctifying posture, we have a bow at the beginning of our form, right? Any form, really, right? Which could look a bunch of different ways. But if I'm actually doing that and I'm saying, okay, where am I? I'm here on a point. I'm aligned, settled, and centered. I'm coming into a stance. I'm sanctifying this space that I've stepped into, right? That I've stated, I am me, I am here. This can only happen now, right? Maybe not in so many words. And I'm bowing to my teacher, to my lineage, to the world, to my God, to my, whatever, right? To the practice space, whatever you like, whatever. But I've sanctified that practice, right? Then I go in and I probably bumble through and make mistakes, maybe repeat the same ones. But what I'm doing is I'm inviting the form to help me with the problem that I have, rather than demanding that the form just instantly give me the thing that it promises. And then, of course, uh, find it disagreeable that it didn't serve me, right? I must serve the form for the form to serve me. I must. And the practice is one of presence and posture, right? And so find that centeredness, that alignment, that settledness, bow from it, bow to it, bow for it, however you want to phrase it. And maybe just do that. Maybe practice that a few times, like we might do in another practice, right? Or just start over, or try, once you get through the bow, go through your sequence, fine. But if you're not going to give the form a chance to give you what it's meant to give you, you won't draw from the form what promise the form has. Do you have a question, or is that's all I want to say? Don't impose yourself on the form. Right. It won't. It won't. You know, beating a tree won't produce apples. Right?